So, you want to join the Whispering Blades, eh? Well, we've got a doozy of a quest for you today. And you gotta admit, the name of the faction is pretty dang cool. Before you're officially in the Whispering Blade, however, you have to prove your mettle by helping out the people of Silyun, as we first did in the Eleonora's Heart quest. Welcome to the Abyss. My name is Void Money, and today we will be looking into a group of rogue Viamontian knights called the Knights of Karlun. So, it turns out, aside from the Silyun rebels, there's another group of disenfranchised Viamontian knights. So naturally, they must be friends, right? Well, after you complete the Eleonora's Heart quest, you can speak to the grandmother in Silyun to get her take.
I wonder if you might help us, since you have helped us once before. There is a group of knights who has broken away from the murderous Viamontian loyalists. They call themselves the Knights of Karlun. Unfortunately for them, they possess something that would be useful to us. A ring that once belonged to Karlun, the great father of Viamont. I would have you take this ring from their leader, a knight named Sir Belfalor. Kill him if you must, but to even see this Belfalor, you must infiltrate the Knights of Karlun and gain their trust. They have a fortress located at 89.0 N, 67.6 W.
Now, you'd think the most logical course of action here would be to recruit Sir Belfalor and the Knights of Karlun into the rebel cause, right? But apparently, that isn't in the cards here. In any case, the run to their fort isn't that far from Silyun, so you can make the jaunt across Trader's Island and maybe avoid some of the baddies while you're at it. You might encounter a few eaters along the way, which is a decent test of things to come. When you get to the coordinates, you will find a portal that will take you up to Karlun's fort, where you'll find a few Viamontians. Among them is a guard, muttering,
"Knights of Viamont are men, not monsters. Verici has gone too far."
If you question the guard, he will suggest,
"Speak with Sir Genazio. He deals with all the outsiders."
Sir Genazio is just nearby, and he is also speaking aloud.
"Fighting alongside one of those foul eater things would make me feel as debased as Melantian. Karlun would not have approved of us using fiendish beasts to do our fighting." Quick lore bit. The Melantians are one of the heritage groups of Isparians who never arrived on Dareth, having no portals in their region. But back to Sir Genazio. If you speak to him, he will say, "Ah, have you come to join the Knights of Karlun? I do not trust you enough to send you to speak to our Grand Master, but perhaps if you prove yourself trustworthy. If you would enter our confidence, seek out the vile eater thing that swallowed my sword. It can be found at the heart of the eater pit, located at 88.8 N, 72.6 W. Bring me my sword, and we will speak further." If you care to know a bit more about the Eaters, they have a town network painting with an inscription below.
Eaters are the trained war dogs of the Viamontian army, and readily defend their masters to the death. Eaters will swallow most anything, including the odd sword or penguin. But the thing they find most delectable is a special gland from the Fian race. Removal of the gland causes madness and the wholesale enslavement of Fian by King Verici in order to slake the appetites of their ravenous pets explains the hordes of maddened and crazed Fian that wander the Isles of Ruin. It is an irony not lost on the Fian, for they are the ones who birthed the Eater. They were a proud and magnificent society, flourishing with great achievements that allowed them the ultimate hubris, an attempt to create life from nothingness. The resulting abomination destroyed their world and resulted in the Fian flight to Dareth.
That's an interesting dive into both Fian and Eater lore, and a look into some of the other unique denizens of the Halatian Isles. But moving on, the Eater Pit isn't too far from Karlun Fort or Silyun. Just run over there and avoid death if possible. Once inside, you will find a lot of famished eaters along the way to the end of the dungeon. Make sure to free them from their famished state, preferably not by feeding them pieces of you. At the end of the dungeon, you will find an eater named Sword Swallower. It's stronger than the other eaters, but will drop similar loot, which may include Isparian body parts that you can trade into a collector for more experience. Yeah, these collectors are suddenly seeming a bit more sinister, aren't they? Anyway, kill the Sword Swallower, and it will drop Ser Genancio's sword, whose description reads, "The battered and pockmarked sword of Ser Genancio of the Knights of Karlun. Heading to the exit portal, you can make your way back to Fort Karlun and give Ser Genancio back his sword, and he will exclaim,
'You have found my sword. Wonderful. Please give it to me, and I will tell you how else you might aid the Knights of Karlun.' Well done. You have my thanks. But you have not proven yourself to the Knights of Karlun just yet. Now, I must ask you to take on a more sensitive task. One of our leading warriors, a knight of great virtue named Ser Coretto, journeyed into the heart of madness to discover what afflicts the Fiyun, who have gone mad. It has been some time since we heard from him. Please follow him into the heart of madness at 84.8N, 68.6W, and discover what has become of him." Well, as fetch quests go, we will have to continue on our next task. Considering what we read on Town Network paintings for Eaters, I don't have the highest of hopes for Ser Coretto's quest for knowledge. The Heart of Darkness will be across a small inlet to the southeast of Silyun. Make the run over there and hop into the dungeon portal. It is a bit on the winding side, but at the end you will find Ser Coretto. If you speak to him, Ser Coretto will ask a favor of you.
I would wager my friend Ser Genancio sent you to find me. Noble of you, but futile. I am no use to anyone. I am broken. I have discovered things too terrible to bear. Please, put me out of my misery. Strike me down so I may die like a true knight. And when I am dead, take my last testament to Genancio, so he will know. So they will all know.
Well, it seems like a little bit of an overreaction, but you can just put him out of his misery anyway, and he will thank you for your act of, charity. Seriously though, guys, there's help for things like this, and it doesn't involve the pointy end of a blade. Now, if you shamelessly search Coretto's body, you'll find a journal called the Testament of Ser Coretto.
My brothers, in the knighthood of Karlun, I have traveled to the Fiyun settlement in these islands and spoken with their leaders. They are a gentle folk who have learned much and acquired much power, but have only recently learned how to properly manage their power. I have come to admire their hard-won wisdom, and think our own people, especially our ruler, who led us into this forbidding land through his own arrogance, can learn a lesson from their downfall. I have discovered what horrors drove the Fiyun mad. The Fiyun, it seems, have had some kind of gland or organ in the back of their head that, when removed, drives them mad. It is also an unfortunate side effect that the smell of one of these exhumed glands is something that reliably attracts the foul-eater beasts that have lately become a standard element of Verichi's army in this new land. It was not disease or catastrophe or fickle chance that turned so many gentle creatures into ravening beasts. The affliction does not come from an experiment gone awry that twisted their minds. It was not overreaching hubris that made them monsters. No, the Fiyun were victimized to feed an immoral hunger for power. Someone saw that their purposes would be served by the suffering of these innocent creatures. I know who brought evil to Fiyun, and it is us. Only us. I have no desire to go on after all I have witnessed. I have asked your messenger to strike me down and end my torment. Honor the person who brings you my last testament, because that person has fulfilled my final wish. Ser Coretto.
On a side note, is it normal for people to sign their journals with titles like Sir? Seems like the sort of thing you'd use a full name or initial on. Well, anywho, head back to Karlun Fort and hand the journal over to Ser Genancio for more dialogue.
I see you have succeeded in making contact with Ser Coretto. Give me his last testament, and I will grant you permission to enter the hall of Karlun and speak with our Grand Master, the Honorable Sir Belfalor. This is heartbreaking. We all will mourn the great man that Ser Coretto was, and thank you for putting him out of his misery. You have proven yourself to me. I will give you your permission to enter the hall of Karlun and speak with our Grandmaster. You have also been judged worthy to receive a piece of armor of the Knights of Karlun. Wear it with honor.
The breastplate actually isn't too bad, and I'm sure you'll have better equipment by this point. Anyway, if not, cheers. And it looks cool too. So, now that we've gained the trust of the Knights of Karlun, it's time to enter the Hall of Karlun and meet Sir Belphegor. The portal to the hall is in the fort, so just head inside and go straight to the end. You won't have to attack any of the Knights of Karlun if you don't want to, as they won't be aggroed to you. If you make your way up the raised platform, Sir Belphegor will be there with 2 guards. Approach, and he will say,
"You may have fooled Sir Genazio, outsider, but I know you are working for someone else, and that you seek the Ring of Karlun. I will not attack you, but you will get nothing from me. You may as well leave."
So it seems like he is seeing right through our quest for membership in the Knights. Attack him, and he will call the guards to his aid and attack. And upon his death, he will cry out,
"And so I die by treachery. Go running to your masters, corrupt puppet." Bleh.
On his corpse is the long-sought-after Ring of Karlun. The description reads, "An ancient, heavy, scratched golden ring with the bull insignia of Karlun, legendary founder of Viamont. Take the ring and head back to Silyun and give it to the grandmother."
Beautiful. It is regrettable what had to be done to our brave Sir Belphegor, but we are glad the Ring of Karlun is ours. You have our gratitude.
The grandmother will reward you with a Champion of Silyun token, and you'll be able to change your title to Champion of Silyun. Not bad. Giving the token back to the grandmother will prompt her once more.
May your kindness to the people of Silyun be known to all you meet.
And there you have it. But don't forget to trade in any of those Hesperian body parts to collectors if you found any. They're worth 15,000 experience each. And with that, my friends, the Knights of Karlun have been overthrown, and the Ring of Karlun taken for the machinations of the Silyun rebels. It brings us further into the realm of Silyun, and one step closer to joining the Whispering Blade. But with that, I must bid you adieu. Thank you so much for making it this far. If you're new to the channel and like this style of video, please consider subscribing and checking out the video or playlist popping up right now. And once more, thank you again, friends. Have fun and stay safe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!